All right, everybody. This week we're joined by Dr. Grant Olsen in Springfield, Missouri, and he has a very unique setup that we want to talk about. And we're going to talk about a few things with Grant today. We're going to talk about his practice, this monstrosity building that he built and how he got around to that. And very specifically, I want to talk to him about how he did YouTube to help build his practice and what you can learn from that to help build your practice. So let's go ahead and bring Dr. Grant Olsen on. And Grant, how are you doing today, my man?
Doing well, thanks. I'm excited to speak with you about this and share my passion for dentistry. And thanks for the opportunity and reaching out. So,
thank you. Well, selfishly, I want to steal your ideas and make them my own. So that's kind of why I reached out, just so you know.
There you go. Well, I want to steal some of yours. I've been doing that for a while, but it's not really stealing when you're just giving them to us. So I appreciate it.
Well, that's true. That's true. And, I often start feeling bad. It's kind of on topic here. I kind of feel bad sometimes when I see people like you, and I had Tejas Patel and I had some other people on, and I'm like, God, they're doing so good. What's wrong with me? And then I always, to make myself feel better, what I always say is that's not my focus anymore. I'm not really focused on winning in my practice at the level that you guys are winning, or at least what it seems like we're winning. But along those lines, talk to us about your practice. Tell our listeners about your practice, what you guys trying to build, and let's kind of even talk about the journey into your building.
Sure. Well, our practice currently, we obviously had a vision that was a little bit beyond what you see typically in general dentistry. We thought we kind of had a practice there in Springfield, Missouri, at a Culpeper location, our first location, that was more of that spa type vibe, spa feel. So, nicer finishes and, worked with all the senses and smells and music and all that environment. And obviously it helped grow a practice where people were feeling like this is not a dental office. The current location, the vision developed over many, many years, but I would say it's more kind of a resort type feel. It's really kind of the full-fledged vision of trying to take people out of the dental environment and make them feel like they're at a resort. Obviously, we still do dentistry here, just like we all do. But the environment, the in and outside feel, the large glass walls, the exterior courtyard, the fire, those type of themes throughout our practice, they give people, I think, a sense that they might be on a vacation until they sit in the dental chair and maybe get a shot. But it helps with the dental anxiety. And I'd say our approach really from the beginning is that we're not trying to just attract the dental patient that already is going to the dentist. But there's, as you already know, there's 50% of the patients people don't even go to the dentist at all. So, or at least not every 5 or 10 years when they have a toothache. And so this was kind of our approach to how can we create an environment that maybe will attract people that traditionally don't go to the dentist for whatever reason. And it's working. And so we attract a lot of people that haven't been to the dentist for 5, 10 years. We're able to help them. They have a new, fresh look on what dentistry might be by coming into our practice. And so that's in a nutshell where we're at today. I mean, I can give you whatever you want to hear from our history, but I think that would sum up where we are currently. So.
All right. So let's kind of, I'm going to dive into that a little bit. So how big was your building? So number one, did you do a scratch start?
So initially, miracle after miracle came across to be able to buy a practice that was a really good deal in the sense that it was priced right in Springfield. It was 5,500 square feet. Had 5 ops. It had an expansion side that was an event center. So it was something that I knew long term we could maybe build into. And so we worked with that for some time. And then what we found is that we were outgrowing the space that we had. And so we were able to build into those now 10 ops there and make that happen. So
when you bought this practice, clearly you bought a practice that wasn't meeting its potential in terms of the space that it had. Did you go ahead and expand into the event center part of it?
Yeah. So exactly what happened is that it was actually going to the bank. The dentist that previously owned it wasn't going to be able to own it anymore, and so it was going to be turned into the bank, I think, on the next Monday. Okay. And so by a complete miracle, I found out about the practice, was able to come in and tour it. Found out that I tell people it's kind of like the beer goggles for a dental office. I came in there and didn't see the kind of the mess it was in, and saw the potential that it could be. And so I had this optimism that I can only explain by the fact that I was praying about it, and was able to buy a practice that was really, like I said, on kind of a fire sale. And then, yes, we did expand into the event center. I think it was 2.5 years into it. So we added another dentist in September after starting in January. So 9 months in, and found our opportunity to go, let's take this to the next level. 5 chairs isn't enough, with hygiene and everything growing. So then we moved into the 10 ops there. So.
Okay, so then you had 10 ops at your previous location. And how big is this office now that you're in now?
So the dental space is probably in the 20,000 square foot range. The whole facility.
You're like in the top 1/10 of 1% of how big your office is.
That's what I'm told. Yeah, that's what I'm told. But I mean, that wasn't necessarily the goal. Matter of fact, I don't even know if we knew anything about square foot until we really got down to the last bit. We really had a vision that I can only explain. Like I said, we went into this with let's do something out of the box. And then through the time of the 3 years of coming up with a plan, there was some times where I just really felt God calling me to do something that, for me, was going to be a total faith effort. It wasn't something that I thought I could achieve on my own. I think I'm a good dentist, but there's no way that I feel I can sustain the size of facility and do it all on my own. And so I really had to rely on God, and we had a lot of faith going into it. That eased a lot of the anxiety. You mentioned earlier, why would I not be so scared? I really just wasn't relying on myself. And so we have a great team, and I knew it was the right step. It was what God called me to do, and I knew he wouldn't let me down. So going into this, we were able to have an optimism about it. It wasn't easy. I'm sure a lot of steps you've made in your career that were worthwhile and going to pay off. And sometimes you're kind of scratching your head like, I could have maybe taken a little safer route. But constantly relied on the fact that I knew I was doing something that I was specifically called to do. And I stress that. I know a lot of people are like, man, what are you doing that for? And I don't think this is for every dentist by any means. I mean, it's just for me, it's what I felt called to do. And I want to transform as many people's lives as I can, including our teams. And I would say the environment we created has done that for all of our team members. They would have a story that has been how they've been impacted by our culture, and it's not just the facility that does that. So, yeah.
What's your potential there in terms of operatory size, number of operatories, and things like that?
Yeah, sure. So we have on the lower level we have 2 wings essentially that wrap around a central courtyard. So we have a north wing and a south wing that they have 10 ops in each. The south 10 ops is what we opened with. Because we still are utilizing our other office for a few days a week as we're making a transition to this new office. So that's the lower level. The second floor, we utilized the space in the front lobby area, kind of close to the lobby, for our ortho bay. So we have 1 private and 7 that are kind of open chair concept for braces and Invisalign to help those patients that need shorter appointments and quicker turnarounds. And then probably the most unique portion of the office, and that's actually where I'm sitting right now. This is our cosmetic and implant center. This is our suites. So we have cosmetic suites. And these rooms are a living room, which is what you kind of see behind me, and a dental chair, which is what would be right here. This room is room number 3. It's not complete. The chair's on its way. So Dentsply, I think that's what you use too, the treatment center from Teneos, So we have 2 Teneos, and they're in the first rooms 1 and 2 behind me here, behind this wall. And so those rooms are kind of just private. Obviously have doors, bathrooms, and they have a balcony space, which, if you want to see there, I think you can see outside. There's
each room has their own individual
balcony there.
Well, people like living there? You like have them stay overnight? I mean, what's the deal?
No, they don't stay overnight. They just obviously for it's good, right? We actually did think about it when you go into thinking about and brainstorming. We put everything out there, and it just never made the cut because of trying to figure out how do you staff an overnight situation. So we decided
I'm going through that myself right now. But yeah.
Okay. We have great places for that. So
let me ask you this: Did you Did you not believe that you could do what you're doing in the space you were in? Or
Um, we to some degree we were still doing the traveling. You asked me about the YouTube, and I'll share more about that to you here in a moment. But we were definitely starting this traveling treatment where people were flying in and getting things taken care of there, but we didn't have a very good private space for it. And so or the arrangement was more of open plan. And I was either going to have to, one of the options would have been drop insurances or drop some, or not hire, more docs to help us grow. And so I took the path of, hey, I want to continue to see where we can take this, and how we can maybe build a place that has everything, not just parts of what we want to have.
I wrote down a comment. It's interesting that we're talking about this. I wrote a post recently, and you've talked about faith a lot, as in, having the faith.
Sure.
I wrote down, as soon as you started talking, the word that came to my mind was self-belief. That regardless of the faith that you must have, certainly I agree that you have to have faith in a higher power, that they're going to support you, that they're going to bring the right people around to you. But I believe that it's more self-belief that it takes to embark on such a different journey. I mean, that I don't know what else to call it other than, the closest thing I think of is when Craig Spodak built his place down in Delray Beach. And there's a level of belief and risk. And that's the other word that people often forget about is, that ability to take risk in doing this. Because, look, I'm making the assumption you were making a pretty damn good living in your original place, and that moving into this place was a financial risk to you that probably 99% of the people, and possibly even including myself, would be unwilling to take.
Sure. Yeah. I understand the point, and I get it to some degree of the self belief. Over time I've given opportunities and where I've been able to exercise my faith, where I've said, God, I don't know what to do here, but I'm going to trust you, and you've called me to do this. Whether that's giving, whether it's donating to the church, whether it's helping an individual that I just feel like, this person is somebody that I'm called to help. And when I've done it, the way that he's repaid me by blessing me with health, blessing me with my family, growing our business more than really, like I said, it just doesn't add up. I mean, we're 2x where we were last year, and last year we did well. And so I should say that just to say that doesn't make sense. Like, we didn't somehow magically come out with a solution that, I had so much confidence in myself. I mean, I think I'm good. You're a way better dentist than I am. I know that. I've seen your work. I've seen it. So, but I just really have, I've really relied on that. And, there was a moment that I'll share with you. We were driving away. It was about a month before the project was done. And my wife and I were driving away from the backside of the project. And then we just looked at it and we said, shouldn't we be scared? And we both really honestly meant it. But what we were really feeling is that we just had a peace, and it's because we were obedient. So I just feel like, my faith in Christ and my trust in him and his exercising of making that happen for years set me up for this leap where I'm going, you know what? I know that I'm not relying on this on my own. He's called me to do it. He ain't going to leave me hanging. And that was where the confidence came from. So I just want to be true to who I would tell you. We talk about this routinely. That's where I feel like we've had that success, and where we've been able to really jump out of, like you said, it's kind of an existential step from 10 ops to where we're at. And why would you do that? Really, once again, I was called to do it. I feel like this is the right thing to do for us, and we're changing some lives, and it's exciting. I don't think any one of our team members, including myself, comes into work in this place and doesn't, be able to put some of the challenges in life aside and be excited about doing dentistry and working together. And as I know you have an extremely good team. And sorry, I keep looking above. I'm used to looking at a camera.
I know.
But extremely good team. And your culture is everything. And so you can build a nice building, but it's a house of cards if you don't have good
No,
people to work in it and
and
staff.
that's
And
where I
so,
believe the belief,
yeah,
maybe, again, I don't want to belabor the point on the belief, faith,
you're
all that
fine.
stuff.
No,
And
it's all
I
good.
get the why. I get the why because we believe, we have faith that we have a talent and that
Hmm.
it would be a waste to not fulfill or utilize that talent. I
Sure.
thought I grew up in the greatest time to be a dentist in terms of
Hmm.
starting my practice. I'm convinced that there's a part of me that wished that I could be in my motivated, my prime in today's world because when I started dentistry in 2000, when I started my practice, my market was 10 to 30-mile radius. And today's
Hmm.
market is essentially, realistically, it's the United States, but there's a part of it that can be the world as your market, and
Sure.
people will find a way to get to somebody that they believe is an expert, that they connect with, and who
Hmm.
see that they're passionate about what they're trying to do, and that it's not a money play or an ego
Right.
play or any of those things.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal time to be a dentist, especially
Yeah.
if you're trying to do niche services like cosmetics, like implants, like orthodontics, like all of these things. There's, in my opinion, no better
Yeah.
time to do it because the world,
Sure.
essentially the United States is your oyster.
Well, I was just saying, that was kind of why we initially started the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
was to kind of say, you know what, even if nobody travels to see us, it sure would be cool to help people understand dentistry that are looking online. That's where they're at, right? They're online, they're looking at YouTube, they're on Facebook, they want to learn what's going on. And so, with dentistry, and they don't want to read it. And so I thought, maybe I could just create some YouTube videos that share some of the ideas I have. And, we all get pretty opinionated as we, why would we do dentistry this way? And I wanted to share why I feel like this is the way I view dentistry. This is why I think I can help people. Or if you're not going to travel here, here's some things you might want to know. So when you do go to the dentist, you can get a better experience. And so that was really the idea about the YouTube channel. I'll tell you, I put, I don't know, 80 videos out before it really ever got any traction. And I put, this, I was editing it myself. I have a little help now, but we were at, 6, 7, 8 hours of editing because I'm not an editor,
Right.
and writing it and shooting it and doing that after work. Now that didn't return a huge amount. Nobody really traveled, and all of a sudden YouTube, like algorithm wise, found out that the channel was pretty credible, at least for their viewers to watch and stay on. And so it started just taking off, and they started showing more and more videos to people doing Google searches for things. So that's when we started seeing some traction. Created a website called yoursmiledestination.com, and kind of had the form there.
So I deal with myself and a lot of people that say, hey, I want to grow the implant part of my practice, or I want to do more cosmetic cases. What's your marketing strategy? And I've always believed that people buy from people. Okay. So people want to connect with who their healthcare or their partner, their provider is going to be. And I believe in an educational based approach to selling. And so I've
Right.
used that in the dentist to dentist world from my early days on Dental Town of just putting the information out there, giving it away for free. And what I found was that people were willing to come to somebody who they felt that they connected with as a method of, in a sense, of repayment. So I believe that today, the best way to market your practice is what I call what most people refer to as personal branding, and that's just putting yourself out there, answering the
Sure.
common questions, and showing your work, again, not in an egotistical way, but showing your work. And people want to learn, and those people that want to learn are more likely to buy. So let's take a step back, Grant. So let's step back, say 4,
Okay.
5, 6, 7 years. And you had mentioned that you started this YouTube channel. Okay.
Right.
So I'm in that position now. Okay. I want to do more implant cases, more cosmetic cases. What advice would you give me that to get started on a YouTube channel to recreate at a small scale, even what you're doing? Because let's say I want to
Sure.
get 1 or 2 or 3 more cases per month.
Yeah. So I think you've heard this before, but I think finding what's your unique value proposition, or what philosophy and treatment, or what type of treatment you feel like is unique to you, or at least somewhat unique to you, or maybe just unique to your potential listener. Maybe they haven't heard of it. So maybe it's not even unique. Maybe there's lots of dentists that do it, or it's out there everywhere, but maybe they just don't know. And I would say hone in on that. And that's what we try to do with ours. I mean, we run the gamut now on the channel. There's 100, I want to say 40 or 50 videos that run from Invisalign to implants to cosmetic, how to find a good cosmetic dentist. I mean, I made a video about that. So do veneer stain, things like this, right? Making you the expert in the field. And I'd say first map out what you think you want to talk about. And then this is the tricky part. I think people struggle with this one, is you're really wasting your time on YouTube, at least. I don't know about other places, but you're wasting your time on YouTube if you don't have a really good thumbnail and you don't have a really good title. The title's got to be keyword searching. It's got to be something that, somebody that's searching on Google is going to find. And then it's got to also be something that is catchy, right? It's got to be a trigger, or some people call it clickbait-ish, but it's got to be something that people go, what? I can't believe, what is he going to say? And if you're not doing that, nobody clicks on your video, right? Nobody's going to hear what you have to say. I think one of the videos that I've been criticized the most, it's interesting, and it's actually been the most beneficial, is a video I said, don't crown your teeth.
Yeah, I was about to call that out.
Right, yeah. Yeah, there you go. So I got so much hate on that, but I think half the people never even watched it, and that's okay. And we all have our different philosophies. But I was talking about front teeth, and a lot of times I was getting, especially treatment plans from people in our area that had, for all intents and purposes, yeah, right. They had healthy teeth in the front, and they were getting recommended crowns. And I just said, you know what, maybe I can help some people. I can do same day veneers. I can give them the benefit of not, taking as much tooth structure away, whatever. But that started that. How do I title this? How do I get people interested? And so within the first 10 seconds, I give it away. I say, don't crown your front teeth if you can avoid it. And then I gave that out, and I did a rebuttal, a follow-up video that did well too. It just explained, hey, I know dentists have been kind of fiery about this one, but here's what the situations where I think crowns are beneficial in the front teeth. And obviously it's just my opinion. You can disagree, that's fine. But it was effective. And so we gained a lot of followers. We had a lot of people interested in why would this dentist go against the grain and tell me something that, and so it was good to get some traction and become an authority, I guess, in a sense, on YouTube for giving information on dentistry.
I want to give our listeners a little lesson here. When Grant says thumbnail, that's going to be like the image that shows up before the video plays. In other words, it's got to be something attractive that makes people want to look at the video, or it's got to be, in my opinion, pretty self-explanatory and very plain English words, like this is what you're going to learn by watching this video. And so that's the thumbnail. Now, I'm on your channel, on your YouTube channel right now, and I want to read out the top 5 videos on his channel. Number 5 is do not crown your teeth, must watch before dental work. That was 1.1 million views 3 years ago. Number 4 is crowns versus veneers, which is best, 1.2 million views from 3 years ago. Number 3 is dentist says do not crown your teeth, proves it, 1.4 million views from 3 years ago. This one's interesting to me. The number 2 one is live veneer procedure, cosmetic dentistry smile makeover, 3.3 million views, streamed 2 years ago, and it's 4 hours long, okay? And the number 1 video is before and after smile makeover transformations, 4.8 million views from 7 years ago, and it was 7 minutes long. And my point in all of this is all of these are likely search terms that people that are interested in this procedure are looking for. And more importantly, what's amazing to me is 7 years ago, I assume you didn't have a team doing this, and it's your most popular video by 3-4x. And to me, my point being in all of that is and I suffer this myself, is we want all this tech. We want everything to be perfect, and we give all these reasons it can't work. And you did it with essentially no team on a video in dentistry that's gotten 4.8 million views. So
Yeah.
that to me is pretty amazing.
Well, it speaks to the fact that I forget exactly how to phrase it, but perfection is the enemy of great. I mean, you can really kind of worry so much about being perfect that you just don't ever do it. And this was a good example because that video is actually some of the worst dentistry I've done. I mean, it was 7, 8 years ago. It's not I mean, I would hope most of my restorations look better than that, but I was still willing to be vulnerable, put my work out there, and say, here's my before and here's my afters. And it was effective, right? I mean, people watched it. They watched other videos, and then maybe were able to follow the channel and get more knowledge from it. But if I didn't do that, and I remember doing that video, all I did is the before and after of our Google Photos that we loaded, and I just loaded them into, I think it was Apple iMovie, and put some cheesy music to it and did some transitions and uploaded it on, I think it was during Christmas break. And you're right, it's been the most watched, I don't know if it's been the most effective at converting patients to travel, but at least YouTube put it out there to be seen and help maybe get people onto the channel and watch something else.
Yeah.
So
I think that's an important point. Not every video has to be a conversion video. When you're
Right.
working in the Instagram world or the YouTube world or the social media world, you need to do some things that get you attention so that the powers that be, the computers that run everything, the wizard, kind of put some attention on your channel so that the sales, the direct response stuff that you do gets the attention it needs
Right.
because of your past history. And so tell me, if you don't mind, what planning goes into what you make now? Like what planning and
Yeah.
scripting and all of that stuff, so that you make a plan to help bring patients into the practice.
Yeah, definitely. It's important to have a plan. I think for the last year and a half has been kind of building this office. So you've probably noticed the number of videos have been less and less. And then the last maybe 5 months, getting into the new office and having, I've got a 6-year-old boy that's playing basketball now. I got 11 and 13-year-old daughters that are into gymnastics. Priorities and things have kind of shifted and changed, and my time's a little bit more limited. And then we have the traveling patients that have really started to fill my schedule. But I still am committed to making content for YouTube. It just is transitioned from being a general kind of, shooting videos about all sorts of dental topics, which I've done. But the focus going forward is going to be, I think some of the, once again, I told you what I would recommend doing. I'm going to reinvent myself to do the same thing. And that's, what's my unique value proposition? Well, I do full arch implant prosthetics, and I can do full mouth reconstruction with the CEREC with implants, Invisalign, a combination of crowns, veneers, cantilever bridges. We can do a lot of different things, but we can basically take somebody that's got a condition that's pretty rough, and I can give them advice on, should we keep the teeth and restore it? Is it worth it? Is it the right move for you? Or should we be going with removing all the teeth and doing a full arch implant prosthetic solution? So that's where I'm going to take my YouTube channel. Because I'm not so interested on growing subscribers as I am to helping people. And so I want to see people be able to trust me and come and take my advice on treatment and have treatment done by myself or our team. And so that's the goal of the channel going forward. And then I want to take it. We're creating another channel called Rheostat, and it's going to be it's another company that we own here at Innovative Dental, but it's going to help advise and give some information that's worked for us to be effective. And it'll be a consulting and marketing kind of.
What's the name of that company?
Rheostat.
How do you spell that for me?
RHEOSTAT.
Okay.
So Rheostat, obviously it's a thing we put our foot on
Right.
as a dentist. The terms actually work really well. It's Rheo is a Latin word for flow, and stat is statistics, right? So we're thinking along the lines of what that means for dentists. It's flow statistics. We actually have an app that's not released yet. It's in beta. but it's phenomenal. It communicates to the doctors and the team. It pulls from your practice management, and it tracks performance and timing. And so when the patient shows up, it shows that they're here, shows how long they've waited to be seated, shows how long they've waited to get anesthetic, it's really slick how this works. And we're working with a lot of automation with it, with Bluetooth. We have it working on the iPhone and the Apple Watch. And so what we're hoping to do is provide teams objective data that helps them analyze the flow of their practice and gives them statistics that will allow them to make better decisions for training, for accountability, for scheduling, all of these things that really drive performance. But we talk about the numbers, which is fine. Numbers are good, but that's kind of the cart, right? The horse comes first, and the horse is the inner office performance. So I feel like that's kind of the direction. That's an app, and then, like I said, along with that, we want to provide some consulting and help people that maybe would like to see what we're doing. But obviously, just being a think tank, and we learn a lot from other people. I've learned a lot from you. We by all means don't have it all figured out, but we're excited to keep innovating. And then the other one would be marketing. How do we help practices market and see successes like we have, whether that's on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. Obviously, Facebook's kind of slowing down a little bit, but the other two there are pretty big.
If you don't mind, I'd like to move to the last part of what I want to talk about. So to kind of give our listeners where we're at, we talk with Grant about how we got to this point, his journey, the new building, his belief in faith and all of that. And then now we've kind of talked about using YouTube as a way to get the patients. Grant had a desire to do more niche dentistry, cosmetics, implants. He has a skill set and he wants to fulfill his capabilities there. But the last part of that to me is we've got to deliver what we tell people we're going to do for them. And so I want to talk to Grant about his journey, about being able to deliver that. What CEs, where did he learn, what the patient journey looks like, and what technologies that he may be using to help make this easier, especially when you're dealing with people that come from out of town. You can't be having them come back every week, to fix something here or there. So I think you kind of get where I'm going here, Grant. So kind of walk us through all of that.
Sure. Well, it's not going to be so pretty.
Perfect. Even
but
better.
I did do a lot of my initial CE, obviously at CEREC Doctors, and then I've done some SPEAR education. By no means am I a graduate from both schools and have all the knowledge that they teach, and I'm excited to continue that. Then it started really within the first year of getting the CEREC. It was back when it was a blue cam. Mm-hmm. And you remember the Sarman technique? You remember that one?
I'm very familiar with all that.
Yeah. One at a time.
Like the screwdrivers and shit like that in there.
Export, copy. It was a challenge to do 6 units. And I remember doing my first 6 units on my grandmother-in-law, and it took me 8 hours, and it was with one milling machine. And so, but I fell in love. I fell in love with it. The fact is, it was 8 hours. It was awfully long, and it's not the prettiest smile I've ever done. A matter of fact, I beg her to let me redo it every time I see her. But she's like, I love it. I'm not letting you redo it. So, but anyway, so that started the journey of just being more passionate about what I think I could deliver as a patient experience than just getting it done. And so I started spending lots of hours working at designing, and so. Sitting hours. Like sometimes, if you've designed in software, especially in the beginning, it was really frustrating to get really nice results. And I'm thankful for all the pioneers in CEREC dentistry that really, through the RedCam days and the initial imaging, how they had to fight through some of the challenges to get it to work and do decent dentistry then. But then fast forward to, asking people to travel and do full arch treatment or full mouth treatment with the CEREC in a day. I know that goes against the grain, but it's worked well for us. My first case, I thought I had everything figured out. I've done a lot of veneers and a lot of same day 10, 12 unit cases. I had my bio copies. I had my bite. I did a way of recording the bite and restored that. Then I prepped the last few teeth to get rid of the bite. Mm-hmm. And the computer locked up and I lost everything. So that was my first experience with a guy from Pennsylvania coming in for 28 units. And his actually, I did a video on him on YouTube. But I just was honest with him. I said, man, I have no idea what happened. Fortunately, we had redundancies, right? So we had multiple computers. Used another one. We made a jig. I didn't get done with that till I want to say 7:30 that night. It's been a few years since I've done that.
And the patient
treatment,
was still
but
appreciative and happy.
he was still happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a miracle. I literally, it was a miracle. And the point really with telling you why, I mean, we started at 8 and got done at 7:30. That is terrible production. That is, I mean, that is awful. Hourly production was shot, but I still, everything, you know, it ended well, and it was a beautiful smile, I feel like, one of my best. And I'm really proud of it because it was perseverance. And so I was able to persevere through others. And so I think now the software is even better. That was back, I think, Omnicam. So now Prime Scan, it's even more predictable, even less hiccups. But some of those earlier softwares and challenges developed a patience, I think, that I have with the process that has, you know, garnered me some successes that maybe others would be like, you know what, I'm just going to send that to the lab. Why get the headache? And I get that too. It's not for everybody to sit there and fight with software. And I'm sure, like we were talking before we even got on, there's, you know, computers can be glitchy and frustrating. And, you know, if you're,
Well, my
if
lucky
you
is
give
I'm
up,
brown, so I'm tech support, so we're good.
yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
So all right,
anyways,
so you're leveraging same-day dentistry, in your case, Sarek, very heavily to be your unique proposition for your patients. You're getting a lot of out-of-town people. Are you using any type of virtual platform to help communicate with these people?
yes, we use Zoom and we use Google Meet to do that right now. And then we do. Matter of fact, I got a virtual when we're done here today. We do schedule those on Thursdays. But yeah, just we get all their information. They submit their records.
How do they submit records? Talk to me about that.
So we have a form. Yeah, we have a form. If you go to yoursmiledestination.com, we use I think it's called Jot Forms, the company that helps the records. So, but they're able to submit their records to us, and we get at least an understanding of what's going on. Obviously, you can never have a final treatment until you see them in person, but we get a decent idea, and we explain that. And so when they're able to come here, we have at least a treatment plan that's pretty close, that they've accepted and financed. And so when they get here, we button it up, right? We take a few x-rays typically, especially if we're having some questions. We'll take that the evening before and do the treatment the next morning. And so that's kind of how we've done it. You know, that's what we did took care of a lady from Kentucky on Tuesday, and yesterday was a lady from Colorado Springs. So 10 units. And it's kind of interesting, right? It's the fun kind of hodgepodge of treatment. Cantilever bridge on one, an implant for a lateral there on the another, veneers, crowns, and so sometimes in an implant, so that you just have a wild amount of things you can kind of put together. Now that's what I love about Sarek. It's not limiting for doing these large cases. So, and we have 6 mills upstairs and 2 downstairs, and so the turnaround is another huge factor there, right? Being able to turn around the smile that quickly.
Yeah, basically you can mill 8 units at one time.
Right.
In theory. So it's interesting you also say that. One of the challenges, I would assume, with semi-unplanned out-of-town dentistry is you might not be doing veneers. You might end up taking a tooth out. You might end up doing, a crown on a tooth. You may, you have no idea kind of to a certain degree what you're walking into. And so you have to have I would say you have to have a full suite of clinical knowledge to be able to tackle these kind of cases. And that's where consistent lifelong commitment to education and getting better is super important. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Good point.
What other advice would you give anybody listening that says, I want to do what you're doing? What are the pitfalls of this? What are the things that you wish weren't like this? Like what are the negatives? Because it sounds all sexy and phenomenal, but there's bound to be some negatives in this type of dentistry.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, be prepared to be humbled. There's plenty of times where you thought things would turn out a certain way and they don't, whether that's clinically or just as you're developing a practice and adding people and figuring out your systems. You have to find joy in the journey. I think that we've all heard that before, but if you really don't enjoy the journey in dentistry, man, you're going to be disappointed, right? Because it is really totally a journey, and you do have highs and lows, and you have to have good people to support you. I think that that's ultimately where I could say I've been able to make it through and have successes where we're at now, and obviously for our future ahead of us. How are we going to continue to grow? It's not me coming up with some really amazing idea. It's going to be a group of people that help achieve the vision that we've set forth for us. But I'd say first thing, surround yourself with the best people you can find, compensate them well, create an incentive, at least within. It doesn't have to even be financially. It could be the license to make decisions and contribute. There's a lot of people on our team who make very high level decisions, and they bring a lot of value. They're compensated well, but one of the things I know they love is they get to kind of help decide the direction. I think a dental team approach where you at least engage people that are excited about your profession, get it. That's the thing. You already know this. The people everybody does in their practice. That person just gets it. If I can give them a little bit more room to spread their wings, they're going to help make this practice better than I could, because my butt's in a chair and my hands are in a patient's mouth, and there's only so much I can do, and so I think that's huge. Other than that, I think recognizing that, and I'm trying to do this still, recognizing that it is not just we're really competing for all the things people want to spend money on and they're bombarded with online, right? You go to Facebook, I get ads from everything. And so we've got to find ways we're not competing against each other as much as we are for what these patients are going to be willing to spend $5,000 on rather than your implants, right? And so if we can really find ways to make a healthy smile attractive, approachable, sexy, like you said earlier, now we've done something, right? And that's probably why we built this place. We want to make it approachable. We want to make people that normally go, I'm not going to the dentist, I hate going to the dentist. We're like, okay, we want this challenge. We want to see what we can do. Come on in. Let's see if you hate us after you're here. The people here are too nice. We really care. We're trying to do things different. Let's see how you feel once you leave. And so fortunately, we're fighting the good fight and making a difference. But I think every dentist can do that. Every team can do that in some degree. So
that's awesome, yeah. Grant. I want to thank you for your time. I've got two questions. I got
sure.
something that'll kind of open, hopefully give people insight into who you are as a person.
Okay.
I know my answer to this question. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh, golly. Tri-tip.
What the hell is that?
Tri-tip.
That sounds like three types of food. You got one food.
Yeah. It's a steak. It's a really good. It's a very underappreciated. No, it's a steak, but it's a roast.
Is there anything outside the fillet for the steak? That's all I know.
You've had some good steak in the day, I'm sure. Yeah,
I'm sure.
But no, I love all steak, but the tri-tip is.
Speaking of steak, my 11-year-old son, is convinced that I'm going to buy him some A5 Wagyu one day.
Yeah,
and that he just wants to eat like 5 ounces, and I told him I can't afford it, and nor can he. Whatever. All right. So last question for you. What would you do if you were invisible for a day?
What would I do if I was invisible for a day? I'd probably walk around the office. I don't know. I think our team is really good, but I'm always like, are they just that good when I'm around?
Right.
Like,
I know that.
I want to know. Yeah, you got the feeling.
I'm like, they're cheating. They're eating bonbons when I'm not there.
They can't be that sweet. They can't be that good. I'm gonna catch them. So maybe that's what I'd do. I don't know.
Well, Grant, how can people get in touch with you and your services and your rheostat and all of that stuff?
Appreciate it. Yeah. So rheostat's still under construction, but rheostat.com is definitely out there. We just haven't developed it yet. And then if you're a patient, obviously we have yoursmiledestination.com. And then our website is idspringfield.com. But love to see people on the YouTube channel. I will be starting to, like I said, I've got some good content written for the Rheostat YouTube channel. So I'm going to start from scratch, right? We have 108,000 subscribers on our our dental office channel, but I would like to make a channel that's a little bit more directed towards just having, like I said, I'm copying you. Your whole background, it's the same in our studio. I'm just going to,
but you make it
why
look better than
reinvent the
me.
wheel? No, you got it figured out. I'll just keep doing it. So,
Well, thank you,
cool.
Grant.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate
if anybody
it.
wants to get in touch with Grant, all the social media channels, YouTube for certain, Rheostat.com, Your Smile Destination, all of those ways. Grant, thank you for being open and sharing. I hope each of you listening will reach out to Grant, or many of you will reach out to Grant and just pick his brain about what he's doing, what he's done, and don't get caught up in, well, I don't want to get that big, or I don't want to do those things. There is something to be learned, because Grant probably never thought he wanted to get to where he's at, or necessarily believed that he would get there. He was just trying to make the next step. And what I want to encourage people is just make the next step. And then you can always choose to stop when you get to where you want to be, or where you believe you want to be. You don't have to go all the way, but I believe you have to at least try and make a step. And there's so much to learn from these things, especially when you say to me, I want to do more of this dentistry. There's a way to do it, and we should just not reinvent the wheel. We should copy people who are already doing it, and then certainly make it our own with our own personality and our own culture, and make that happen. So,
Perfect.
Congratulations, Grant, and thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you. Yeah, you have a good one. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for listening to T-Bone Speaks with Dr. Turan Agarwal. Remember to keep striving for excellence, and we'll catch you on the next episode.